March the 9th, 2022, we'll begin the Connecticut Real Estate Appraisal Commission meeting. We have a very full agenda here today, and so we will be methodically and working right through it here. I have a lot of paperwork in front of me here, so let's go. Let's take a look at the minutes from the February 9th, 2022 meeting. Are there any edits, corrections, supplements, changes needed or suggested? Hearing none, then can I ask for a motion to accept the minutes of February 9th of 2022?
I'll make the motion.
Morris has the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
John is the second. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Linda and Shauna?
Just abstain, I wasn't there, so.
Okay. All right, 3 ayes. Shauna, you'll abstain? It moves on. It passes. Okay. DCP Investigation Division, where do we stand on those this fine morning? How many do we have? Where are they at? And so forth.
We have no new complaints that I have received this month, or last month, I should say. And they're still being worked on. You know, last month was a short month. There was a lot of other stuff going on, so I didn't get as much done on those as I was hoping to. So we are plugging away at them.
How many do we have outstanding as we speak on this morning?
Off the top of my, I don't have the number right in front of me. I would say like 20, 22.
Okay. All right. Very good. Any questions on this topic by other members of the commission? Okay. We have the DCP Legal Division update on status of our new commission appointments and other
Hi.
legal issues.
Hi, good morning. This is Vicky. I don't have any update, unfortunately, but no news is good news, so that's all I can say. We're just waiting. We're still waiting. We haven't heard anything as of yet.
Okay. Is there anything that is needed by us as a commission to help facilitate this?
No, because you've already sent your letter, and that letter was, sent to the commissioner, and the commissioner designated the deputy to stay focused on that. So it will
Okay.
happen. It's just, a matter of the communications and us being made aware of where we are in the process. But we did know that there were two. I think I had indicated last time that there were at least 3 people. Terry just corrected me. 3 people that were under consideration. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have 3 on, okay.
Right.
All right.
The only other thing I want to say relative to the appraisal law course, we didn't meet because it was determined that we didn't have proper notice, but I can say that Linda and I had already met. We had the topics based on the suggestions that were forwarded to our attention. And I don't know if you want me to, touch upon that now or not. It's up to you. I don't.
This is under the legal. Let's keep rolling.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we had compiled, I'll just say, a list, and I think Terry Jo has it as to some suggested topics. Terry Jo, can you just bring that document up? And we'll send it out to the commission members as well as Jackie and schedule a meeting sometime in the future, immediate future, we hope. And we just pretty much thought that we would add the, I guess by section 8, I would say from section 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are really the new sections, if you will. The other things are the areas which we generally do anyway, which is the overview, the duties of the commission, and that type of stuff. But what we thought we would add this year is, tries to address the issues involving the pandemic, even though it's over, but some of the changes that have happened as a result of. So one of the topics that we were thinking about was desktop and, hybrid appraisals, and how that is seems to be, more prevalent now in this industry. And also the issue about competency and how it is that, that's determined, because I think when people don't really have the work they had before, they may venture into another area, and that may be, an issue of concern. The other thing is that we really have to look at the Fair Lending Racial Bias report from the AQB and some of the concerns that were made available to us in that report. And there are some case studies that, we hope to include, which is there's a Connecticut case and some Indiana case, as well as a California case. The other thing that we think we can get from from our assessor on board is Shauna. Perhaps we can get an assessor's viewpoint as to some of the things that should be done in the appraisal industry from an assessor's point of view. I have video down for this my own thing. I would like to do a video, not from her, but I'm just saying that was just something on my mind. And then the other person who is now being called on is John Galvin to do something relative to commercial appraisals. And if our commissioner chair would like to add something into that, that's fine too. And then any other topics that anybody else has that they would love to see in here, we're welcoming in those as well. And when we have our next meeting, we're going to work pretty much from this sheet, if you will, and we will add and suggest and revise, as need be. And I did see Jim Kyle on here, and anybody else that's interested can let us know. But that's what we have, and that's where we are right now. And Terry Jo will actually send this out, for the meeting that we will have, and we have to get a date on that.
So you're gonna set up that date?
Yes, we are going to set up that date. In all honesty, I thought that the date was pretty much established the last time, because at the meeting we had said it would be the Wednesday before our meeting. So,
Right.
that's, I can see if there's something closer in time, but if not, then I can say it will be the first Wednesday of the month before our meeting. So, proper notice should be done before then, and I apologize for any inconvenience. But
Okay.
that's where we are. That's what I have, and
Okay. Are there any questions from the commission members on this topic?
We're gonna still less, but something on focusing on the supervisor and the training is still.
well, I think that question is something that the commission has to determine as to what they're going to accept as the, what is that program, Linda? I don't know what the name of it is that they were talking about for.
Well, I think John's, you're talking about para, but John's just talking about, a supervisor's responsibility. And, we can probably do a slide or two, but you guys don't want to do the entire program. So yeah, we can definitely add a slide or two. So someone who wants to be a supervisor will know what they should be doing. Because it's amazing how many don't.
Can you
It's
just,
going to take
I'm
place the supervisor training. Will that be sufficient?
I'm sorry,
I'm
what,
sorry,
Shauna?
Shauna, say it again. I couldn't hear.
The supervisor training that everybody needs to have, is that going to be, will that be sufficient then?
No, it won't, unless we keep everything that's already in there, which is what pushed it to 4 hours.
Which
So
everybody said they didn't want. So.
Yeah, but then now we're going to have a separate class then.
Yeah, they'll have to take the separate class.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We can go through this and you can still address Shauna's concerns within the 3-hour window. That is why there was so much wiggle room when this law with the 3-hour thing was set up 25 years ago. So it doesn't have to roll into 4 hours. We can condense things to address those matters within the 3-hour time window.
Okay, I mean,
All
that's
right,
fair.
yeah, if you got, if you guys can come up, figure out how to do it, if we can figure out and you guys want to keep all the, the supervisor trainee information that's needed to count as the class, we can see if we can get that done.
all right, what's the timeline again? I apologize. What's the timeline we're looking at here? What's our goal or to get this done?
I would say if we can get it done, so the schools can start teaching it come, you guys have to give us a date, but I'm thinking the schools can start teaching it in August or September.
All right, does that line up with our new change in time frame
Well,
for,
the new cycle starts May 1st, but there's just no way to write this course and have it ready by May 1st.
They'll still have a
So-
year and a half, John.
Yeah, they'll still have a year and a half, and we can keep the old one out there for anyone right now looking to get a provisional license.
okay,
If the schools want to teach it, yeah, we can keep the old one out there.
thank you.
I know that the issue is the 4 hours is just too long, but it's too long because of what we have currently. If you start adding all those other topics, will it still be okay? I mean, I don't know.
Well, we eliminated some of the topics and substituted those new topics.
Right, it was just substitution. There were no, and the other thing is this, I mean, just because it's a topic, doesn't mean
I
these
mean, it
can't
could
be
only be a
combined.
slide.
It doesn't mean that they can be 2 slides. I mean, it's just, these are just suggestions. Again, this is just I'll say benchmark or where we can start, or it's just proposals. It's not, it's just proposals. Everything is subject to change, and that's why we will be having the meeting to make these determinations. But I had to have something to present, so that we were working on it. So because we were, so it's not, it's not written in
Right.
stone. It's just an idea. We got to start somewhere.
We have like USPAP, so we could just have one slide saying, the new cycle is going to be this for USPAP because it's, now changing. They're not sure what they're doing, and here's what they're discussing, and one slide and move on.
And here's the website to check, something like that, and that's it. Everything is not going to be 25 slides, so not to worry.
So you're looking to have the meeting the first Wednesday in April.
Which
Am
is
I
April 6th, I believe. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to confirm with the commission, because with prior notice and if all the commission will be convening, we have to give prior notice and follow everything. So I
Posted
just
on the
wanted to make
Secretary of
sure,
State's website. Yeah.
correct. I just wanted to make sure all the commissioners realized it was April 6th. Thank you.
And that
Yeah.
meeting is only for this specific topic, correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Are there any other questions?
And
by
if
members
anybody,
of
the only thing I
commission?
want to say, if anybody, wants to have their information, sent ahead of time, that would be wonderful too. I mean, if you want to do your topic that you've been assigned, in theory, ahead of time, that's fine too. If we can put something together, we'll have that together as well. So it's a
Okay.
collective effort. We're doing it differently this time.
Okay,
Thank you.
Could you, Vicky, Terry Jo, Jerry, would it be prudent if you guys resend out everything that you want us to consider in terms of the different documentations that are already out that we're supposed to be covering, so that we all had a chance to kind of review everything and get it fresh in our head?
What do you mean in terms of what?
You put that chart back up. Obviously the USPAT manual we have, but the AQB manual we have. But I mean, you just said something about the supervisory thing, and I think there's a separate document on that, right? Isn't there a separate?
There's a whole section in the AQB
Just the AQ.
booklet.
Yeah, all right. I thought there was something that came out on that separately. So, all right.
Well, that's what I was asking in terms of the para thing, because I wasn't sure, how that would play.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Thank you.
any other questions by members of the commission? Hearing none, then any questions from the public members who are attending today? Or statements or concerns? Okay. Hearing none, okay. Well, then, thank you. Then we are going to be looking for April 6th. That's going to be a Zoom call, I would assume?
Yes, correct.
Okay, is there a time you're looking to set that up at?
I'd like to do it, 9 is fine.
7's too early?
7's not too early for me. I start at 6.
I'm
It
only-
works for me.
For me as
Okay.
well. 7 o'clock's fine.
You tell me, you'll tell us when. I just wanted to, so.
No,
it'll be a
9
Zoom-
is fine. I think that works for everybody. Everybody's had their coffee, tea, whatever, marijuana, whatever you got going, and you're all ready.
Okay, April 6th, the 9th, and then we will have our schedule meeting on the 13th, the following
Correct.
week, correct?
So we can
Okay.
talk about our progress.
Okay, Very
you.
good.
Thank
All right, well, we're going, okay, that takes care of oh, excuse me, Vicky, anything else in legal?
No,
Okay. Not good.
1 second, could we possibly change the time on April 6th, or Zoom actually is busy at the 9 o'clock hour from 9 to 11 on that date of,
can we do it on Teams?
oh
Or
yeah,
does
we
it
can
have
do
to
it on
be on?
Teams if no, we can do it on Teams if
Okay.
everyone is comfortable with it. I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure the commission was comfortable. Yep, not a problem, will do.
Okay. If
Do
Teams is
com-
available, we'll use that platform.
Okay,
Definitely.
is everybody, members of the commission or who will want to participate in this, and it's open to the general public as well, will they have access to Teams?
Oh, most certainly. And I do set up training before
Okay.
the meeting itself. If anyone is having issues logging in, or if anyone doesn't understand that platform, I will train with you prior to that. I'll set up a meeting and we can go through and you can take your time and train with me on that.
Fair enough. Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, so we're still off at 9 o'clock. Or still kicking off at that. Okay. All right, the ASC, our friendly folks, anything to report?
No, nothing. It's been quiet.
Okay. All right. All right, before we get to the old business, I wanted to take care of, I have to ask a couple questions here because I don't want to upset the flow of where we're at, but we had this supplemental agenda that was sent out. I need a procedural thing here. On the supplemental agenda, do we need to vote that into play here, into the minutes? Vicky? Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear anyone.
Well, I don't think it would hurt if we voted in the supplemental. We can err on the side of caution.
Okay.
I haven't heard from Vicky yet. Vicky, are you there?
Hi, I heard something. I couldn't hear everything. Could you repeat?
Yes, Vicky, we have the supplemental agenda. Do we need to vote that in to follow procedures into the agenda as it's a
Yes.
supplemental? Okay, can I have a motion to vote in the supplemental agenda that was forwarded to the commission members and to the general public for this meeting? Can I get a motion, please?
Yeah, Jerry. When was
Okay,
that signed?
Donna, second?
I didn't see it, Jerry. Jerry, I did not see it. I did not see
Oh,
this.
I'm so sorry. Terry Jo, did you forward that? It's the courses, Shauna. It's the list
I'll
of
make
all.
the motion.
Okay, we got a motion by
Jerry.
Doris. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, John. All right, before we vote the questions, Shauna, you do not have this?
Not.
Okay, Terry Jo, can you forward that over to Shauna, please? Okay,
We'll do
take a
right
look
now.
at your screen, please, Shauna, in a moment or two. Hopefully the chipmunks and squirrels are pedaling fast so it can get through the system. I will wait a moment here on that because there's two questions on that. I want to take care of this section here. Therefore, I don't want any of our public members and under old business and new business, how many, we could have as many as about 11 or 12 guests here today. And I do not want them to feel rushed or not have the proper time allotted or as they may need. So while that's going on here, okay, let me move over back to the agenda.
I just got it, Jerry, just.
Okay, all right. Therefore, we have a motion and a second to add this to the agenda. Questions? Hearing none, can I call for a vote? Ayes?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Okay, we have it passed here. Okay, so the school approvals, that's all. I want to just take care of this. I have two questions, I believe here. Well, one we'll come back to here, but if we could take a look, please, at AAL 902 from the Appraisal Institute, Business Practice and Ethics. if my memory is correct, and it is faulty at times, that's for sure, I believe this used to be only approved for 5 hours. Has there been a change from our friendly folks down in DC that now they are granting 6 because we say that all these have AQB approval?
Correct. They have 6 hours on their AQB certificate.
Okay, so there's been a change from the last time on this. Okay.
Yeah, I looked too, because it's gone back and forth of how many hours that's been approved.
Exactly. I just wanted to
so
make
I
sure it wasn't
double-checked
a
it.
typo. I just want to make sure it wasn't a typo.
No,
All right, then. Are there any questions on this by members of the commission? Hearing none, can I get a motion to accept as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept as presented. I think
John has a motion. Thank you. A second?
Linda just seconded it.
Linda, okay, a second. Thank you. Questions, concerns, edits? Hearing none, call. Oh, I'm sorry. Questions? Hearing none, then I call this ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstention. Okay, so I believe it's passed here. Okay, that is good. All right, then. Now, I would like now to get back now to the old business. We've taken care of those things. First on the old business agenda is number 1, Jennifer Greb, RCR applicant sample review. Can we please make sure that the microphone is open for Ms. Greb?
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you please, for the record, give your name, spelling of your last name, and your place of business?
Yes, it's Jennifer Greb, Greb, and the place of business is 5 Wickford Road, Columbia, Connecticut.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Greb. I see you have your sponsor in the background.
I do. Yep.
And sir, if you could give your name, spelling of your last name as well, please, and the place of business.
Sure. Michael Hamilton, Hamilton, and my place of work is 5 Tungus Drive, Columbia, Connecticut.
Very good. Thank you both for joining us this fine, we're not quite the spring, but late winter morning. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You have sent samples, and Ms. Greb, just I want to let you know when a little bit of the process, this will take up to 20 minutes. And with questions of the commission on your work product and so forth. As chairman or as acting chairman, excuse me, I will, I can ask questions, but I do not vote unless there's a tie. Okay, just to make sure that you understand the process and so forth. So since my mouth is running here, I'm going to ask the first question as I've gone through here. And you sent in the sample, correct, on Pomfret Center?
Holmes
Am I
Road
correct?
in Pomfret?
Yeah, yes, on Holmes Road.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, and then I also looked at the sample that you had on Ridgeview Circle in New London.
Will you start with Holmes Road? I'll pull that one up. Is that correct? A video of you guys. Everyone can hear me though, right?
yeah, we can hear you.
Jerry's thinking.
Or he's
Just to
frozen.
make me a little more nervous.
Might be frozen.
I guess maybe he doesn't have any questions.
Let's move
Dumped him.
Yeah, he's gone.
Let's wait for him to get back.
Give me 1 second in the background just to work this out. As soon as I see him log on, I'll bring him right into the meeting.
Should we
All right.
call him just in case he doesn't know he's,
Um, yes, I will give him a call in the background. Please excuse me. Thank you.
All right, should someone else go ahead and start if they have questions?
So I can start
Okay.
just to get the show rolling here. At the high metal drive. So I'm looking, you have 8 on your subject is less than an acre and all your comps are more than an acre.
Yes.
Do you try to bracket that? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. This was very challenging to find. I had to go pretty far outside the acceptable, distance, which I did make a note for that. But it was challenging, and I felt that making the adjustments for the land because it was surplus land was good enough for that because based on the available sales that I had.
so how did you come up with these adjustment prices then? Because that's significant. And you don't have them.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, maybe I should have bracketed for land on that case. And in terms of, how I came up with that, it was, based on size and utility for each of the properties.
Actually get to that dollar amount. I'm trying to figure out how that dollar amount works because
Okay, I think I have that in my my description. Just give me 1 second too.
In this case, I believe it was about,
A couple thousand, yeah, site adjustments for 1, 2, and 3 have surplus land are adjusted on average about 2,000 per acre. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
show that. Do you have any land sales that shows 2,000 an acre?
In my, I know I have lot sales that I would have, oh, this is the, check other, I mean, in my work file, for sure. But as far
You
as
have your work file with you, right?
in my, I don't, I'm at Mike's and I don't have all of my, land sales for, all of Pomfret. We do have, let me see if there is, oh, right, so there was, I don't have that with me.
Okay, thank you everyone for holding.
Next question would be, you did $10,000 adjustment for comp 4, 2, and one's a C2 and one's a C4. And trying to understand that.
Sure.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
just-
One's a positive and one's a negative, but
Okay, so we're talking about, so yes, so in terms of that, let me just get to, please. Okay, so in terms of condition adjustments, that's what you're asking, right? Okay, so I know that, right, so sale 2, I adjusted for superior condition. It was a newer home. It was only a couple years old and went with the C2 rating based on our guide. Sale 4 adjusted for inferior condition. Although it has this condition rating, I didn't feel it was inferior enough to change the condition rating on that.
a sizable adjustment for a same rating type of adjustment. My last question on this appraisal would be, do you have anything that shows that 4 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms don't add any utility? Because I don't see that you adjusted for the bedrooms.
Yeah,
And you don't-
that's a good question. In our market, in this particular segment, it's, even though it's a rental, even though it's they're renting it out a single family rental, because in the multifamily market, we would, I would normally adjust for that. However, in this, because it's a single family and most people would buy a single family, in this particular market, 3 is preferred by the market.
I don't know this market, so I certainly know that a lot of places I appraise 3 and 4 bedrooms do.
Yes, we have adjusted for 4 bedrooms before, and especially with 2, in a 2-bedroom scenario. However, in this market, the market prefers 3 in our research.
That's all my questions for that one. Fortunately, I didn't have time to look at these other ones. Just questions.
Hello, excuse me, everyone. We have Commissioner Rasmussen back on with us. Commissioner Rasmussen, can you try using your audio? Let's see if it goes through.
Can you hear me on the phone here?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, we're still trying to get the computer back up and going, so my apologies, everyone.
No problem at all, Jerry. On our side, you're loud and clear.
Okay, Shauna, you got more questions while I'm still trying to go, or you've addressed your questions?
When I looked at, I'm trying to bring up the other one, so somebody else has questions. they should-
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask a question here, and then while we're still trying to get this back up for you here, that was on the Pomfret Center, Connecticut report, and I'm sorry, Ms. Graham,
No problem.
for me going off here. If we take a look at that, you have this building was built in it's reported in 1986, and you have an effective age of 10 years. And then I notice over on page 3, where you have the estimated remaining economic life is, am I correct me on this? Am I looking at the right report? Is that the one with what, 50 years? Am I correct on that?
Yes, are you looking
How
on,
did
are
you,
you looking on page 3 where it's 10 out of 50? Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Based on
Go ahead.
based on updates, that property, I've viewed it as similar to a house that would be 10 years old out in the marketplace. Based on updates to that home, it seems similar to a house of 10 years.
Okay. What did you utilize or use for a background for your estimated of remaining economic life? Or are you you're thinking a typical house here is 60 years since you have effective age, and then you have 50 years remaining? I just would like to know your thought on that.
Right. So be on the lower end. I know that, it could be 70, for example. I was just, being a little bit more conservative with a 60-year life on that. Do you have any more questions about that?
No, that's it. I just wanted to know and how did you come up with a 60? What's your basis for that?
Just thinking about, as far as the economic life, if the property was, sitting there unused, how long would the improvements last in that property without it being touched? And how long would they add value to the property?
Okay, very good. Thank you. I don't have any other questions for you. Other members of the commission?
I have none other than
Hearing none?
I'm shocked that prices have gone up that much in Pomfret.
Nice.
I'm with
We
you.
have another question over here on Coleman.
Okay.
Coleman. 4, you went above 10% of the sale price for a line adjustment, which is outside the guidelines. That's quite an adjustment.
Okay, I'm sorry, you're on 4? Yes, so this was added as a 4th comp, but this just because it was on the same street. However, this, based on conversations with the listing agent, this house was going to be raised. In my understanding and speaking with the listing agent, it was still in adequate condition, but there were some repairs that needed to be made. It was still seemed functional, but that's why there was such a large adjustment made on that based on conversations and what was going to happen with that property.
You see that you adjusted for bedrooms on this one, so that made me happy.
Yes, based on it being the lake property, we found that in that market, it definitely warranted an adjustment.
Okay. Shauna, do you have any other questions, or you're just
No,
going
I'm
through your
good.
list? Or?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Norris, John, Linda, questions? You may have already asked when I was off the air, so my apologies, folks.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Norris and
I agree with you guys
Linda?
about, I agree with you guys about Pomfret too.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no other questions or comments to make, would someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept, to approve.
That's John.
Second. I'll
on the
second.
motion. Okay, Sean is a second. Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none on the motion, I call the motion to question. Ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstentions, so it will pass.
Thank you.
Ms. Fred, congratulations. Feel free to reach out to Linda. She will give you the steps in the process for the next level, and we wish you nothing but success in your career.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for what you do on the board.
Thank you. Very good. Folks, we're just to let you know, we're still feverishly trying to get me back online, so video, so I'll be still going blind. So when we vote or what have you, if you could say yes, no, instead of raising hands or any of that type of thing, we may have, my computer may have just gone to kaput and being nothing better than a boat anchor. So we'll see where that goes. So the next thing I see on our old business agenda is Sarah Thompson, RCR applicant sample review. Carrie Jo, can you please open up the mic for Ms. Thompson?
Sure. Ms. Thompson, you can unmute at this time. Oh, great, you're there. And we see you on the camera, Ms. Thompson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Rasmussen, she's all set with the camera.
Very good, thank you. Ms. Thompson, could you give us your name, please, spelling of your last name and your business address for the record?
Yes, Sarah Thompson, last name Thompson, and the address is 58 Commerce Street, Clinton, Connecticut.
Very good. And I'm sorry I don't have the video here. Is your sponsor with you?
Yes.
Yes, I am. For the record, my name is Christopher Burke. It's Burke, and my business address is 58 Commerce Street, Clinton, Connecticut.
Very good. Thank you to both of you, and welcome to our meeting here. As mentioned before, we will be asking questions here on your sample review. This whole process will take approximately up to maybe 20 minutes. As chairman, I could ask questions, but I only vote in the event if there is a tie amongst other commission members. So therefore, I just wanted to make sure you understood where we're coming from here, okay? Ms. Thompson, I'm going to ask you the first question and then open it up to you, but how many years have you been appraising, and what areas are you comfortable with or has been your coverage?
I received my provisional license in November of 2019. So about 2 years now, I've been appraising with Chris. Our office is located in Clinton, Connecticut, so we are along the shoreline. However, he was originally an appraiser up in Suffield, Connecticut for about 30 years. And we used to have an office up there before moving down to Clinton 7 years ago. So we also appraise up in Hartford, Tallinn, Litchfield County area.
Okay, very good. I open it up for members of the commission for questions.
Go first again.
Okay, while they're pardon me, I'm sorry.
I said, should I go first again?
Yes, please.
So I'm looking at your Winstead report.
Yes.
First thing I noticed is that you didn't bracket the subject or living area.
Yes, I did not in the comparables. The listings that I used, I did bracket. I have some that are smaller GLA and larger GLA, so I was able to do that with the listings.
Why didn't you do it for the comp?
I didn't do it for the comparables only because in the neighborhood I was looking in, most of the comparables based on condition and age happened to be a smaller GLA, and I thought those were more reliable.
Kind of went outside the neighborhood. You went 2 miles to the other side of the highway. Also don't have a 2-bedroom comp?
Correct. No, I don't have a 2-bedroom comp. I do have 2-bedroom sales in my work file. And I didn't make a comment about it like I did in my Applewood report that there was no market difference between a 2 and 3 bedroom. The sales that I found were about 5 miles. So the proximity to the subject I did not think was appropriate. But I do have 2-bedroom comparables in my work file on Smith Hill Road and on Colebrook River Road. And those show that a 2 versus 3 bedroom home, there was no market value difference. I'm sorry?
4-bedroom comp?
Do I have a 4-bedroom comparable?
It's on the report, 4-bedroom report. You went from 2 to 4, but you didn't give me a 2. I would highly encourage you to at least give me a comp 4 to would match some of these criteria.
Okay.
Your 3rd comp is on a busy road. There's nothing about that. Okay.
On
Adjustment, no comment.
Right.
And the last question I have on this report is, this isn't, it's over by a lake, Crystal Lake, and that general area, does it have any impact? I know that's a popular spot in the summer there.
Right. I did notice that it was by a lake, specifically when I went to the subject property. And in my research, I found that the proximity to the lake and the amenities that come with being near the lake did not warrant an adjustment.
Oh, sorry, I do have one more question. Why didn't you use 22 Cove Street for as a comp? It's closer than some of your other comps.
I do not. What was the address? 22.
2 Cove Street.
22
COE.
I do not have that one in front of me, so I would have to look at that.
I can move to the Ellington report if you want.
Sure,
Jerry.
sure.
This one, you have comps all 3 miles away. There's a neighborhood right there, nice and close. You didn't use any comps from there. Understand why you went so far?
On this one, the reason that I went farther away was the condition of the property. It was well maintained, but it was dated. So I was trying to find comparables that most similarly reflected the condition of that property, as well as bracket the GLA in this case.
7 Kettlebrook in your work file.
I do not have 7 Kettlebrook.
Close. I don't understand why you didn't use these. I'm a little concerned just looking at these reports, so. I think you still need some time. The rest of the commission speak.
John, Norris, or Linda, any questions for Ms.
Well,
Thompson?
My only question is, I noticed you're kind of all over the state. And I know you mentioned earlier on that Mr. Burke, he's been Chris, how long you been appraising now?
Since 1987.
You covered so that when you were in Suffield, the whole pretty much northern
Correct.
part of the state was your turf.
Right. And when I moved down to Clinton 7 years ago, I started gaining some knowledge and getting a few clients down here. So literally the house in Clinton, that's is a half mile from where we're sitting right now. So most of my knowledge was formerly in the Northern Connecticut area. But after I moved down to Clinton 7 years ago, we've been starting to slowly build some knowledge and base down here.
And you've had provisionals over the years, right? You've had other provisionals over the year, correct? Over the years?
Yes. Yeah. And speaking to the comparables, you can pick out different comparables for any appraisal. Some appraiser may say, I think this is better or that's better. I think any reasonable appraisal, if you have it done by 3 different appraisers, would have different comparables. It doesn't necessarily impact the reliability of the appraisal. It's just a different opinion.
Oh, the counts can certainly make a big difference.
I understand that, but I don't think the comparables in the reports led to an improper conclusion.
I disagree with you.
John, do you have other questions or
No,
David?
Does Linda have the ability to talk? Lost your voice?
Yeah, she's having issues with her audio today.
And maybe I will just tell you down here, I've been just told this region of Stanford has lost all internet service. So that's what we've been just told, not only our office, but the building and the whole long building row here. So that's why I'm back on the phone here. So apologize to everybody. If Linda can, Norris, do you have any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Does anybody have any last questions or anything? Ms. Thompson.
Can I ask one more question, Jerry?
Go ahead.
Sarah, how long have you been appraising now? How long? Sarah, how long has it been appraising? How long have you been appraising?
I received my provisional license in November of 2019.
2019. Thank you.
But on the flip side, Sarah's also been exposed. Sarah's been working with me in other areas for 7 years. So she's been exposed to the appraisal business for longer than her provisional license. She actually shadowed me prior to that.
Ms. Thompson, this is Jerry Rasmussen here again. What assignment did you find the most challenging that you have done in the last 2.5 years? And what was the challenge and how did you overcome it?
One of the most challenging assignments I had actually is one that I have right in front of me that was chosen to be submitted, and it was West Road in Clinton. It was a waterfront property. I've grown up in Clinton, so I know the market, but appraising a waterfront property, a unique one that is relatively new, it was only about 4 years old, and finding appropriate comparables, we had to go outside of Clinton into the neighboring towns of Westbrook and Old Saybrook to find comparables of similar age, similar condition, similar lot size on the water, similar water frontage. That was probably one of my most challenging assignments. And working on that definitely took longer than some other more appraisals like a condo, which has absorbent amount of data that I could have used.
So in that assignment that you mentioned here, so you went outside the area, you found approximately, again, I know you did not submit it, but how many comparables, and how did you whittle it down, and what criteria did you use, and so forth? Just give me a minute on what you did in the process.
Sure. So the first thing I did was I actually looked at closed sales in the last year in the town of Clinton, specifically ones that were on the water, had waterfront property. And there was only one other property that sold in the last year on the water. So, and it was actually only less than a mile away from it. So I did use that. And then moving to Westbrook and Old Saybrook, I know that those towns are very similar to Clinton and command the same similar sale price as the same market. So I used a waterfront sale in Westbrook and a waterfront sale in Old Saybrook. They were similar in size, they were similar in condition. And then I also found that the lot size commanded a different price per square foot. So I did some research on vacant land sales within the area, again, specifically looking at waterfront vacant land sales. And I was able to use that to determine adjustments needed on lot size. And then after that, I spoke to several agents in the area that I'm familiar with about, what they're seeing in the market versus listing and closing sales on these waterfront properties. And using MLS data, I was able to complete the report.
Did you do this work, or in conjunction with your sponsor, Mr. Burke, or was that 100% your work, 80%, 50%?
Yeah. So I completed the Chris did come with me on the interior and exterior inspection because our client required him to be with me for the inspection of the property. However, I did all of the market research. I did the research on the comparable sales. I talked to the listing agents and as well as the owner. I accompanied him on the inspection, and then I completed the report fully, and he reviewed it once I was completed and made any changes or comments or teaching moments that he deemed appropriate.
Okay. Is there any comment that comes to mind? I'm catching you out of left field on a Wednesday morning that Mr. Burke, suggested for you to address within that report, or did it fly as what you put forth?
He, the one thing he did work with me on was my land adjustment I made on the appraisal. We kind of talked about that a little bit. He thought it should be a little higher than what I initially thought. And he walked me through why and basically pointed out, the closed sale price and finding similar vacant land sales that had the same utility, again, water frontage, topography in the same market. So he worked on me with that because these lot sizes are under an acre. You're talking 6,000 to 12,000 square feet. But there is a difference in the sale price. So there is something to be said about making those adjustments. So he worked on me with that. And that was the main thing.
Okay, thank you. Other members of the commission, are there any other questions put forth for Ms. Thompson? Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion.
And you have to be my ear.
I'm gonna be making a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna make a motion that she comes back. Unfortunately, she did speak very well. That did impress me, but I don't have any work to allow her to go through based off of what I reviewed. So I'm going to make the motion that she comes back in 2 months and provides 2 more examples.
Okay, a motion is on the floor by Shauna to come back in 2 months with additional samples. Am I correct with that, Shauna?
Yes.
Shauna, is that correct? I have your motion correct?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me, folks?
Yes, Commissioner, we can hear you.
Oh.
Commissioner
Okay.
Barron is answering you.
Okay.
Shauna?
All good, Jerry. All good. That's my motion.
Okay. You're just coming through now. Sorry about that, Sean. We're really having a heck of a day with communication. Apologies here. Can I get a second to Shauna's motion? Calling for a second from either John
Linda's raising her hand.
or Linda. Okay, thank you. Linda has seconded. Okay, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. Any questions, comments, additions to be made during this time? Hearing none, I call the motion to a vote. Ayes to the motion on the table.
Commissioner
Mary Jo,
Sepso
you're
has
gonna
raised
have
her
to help
hand.
me.
I figured
Okay.
Commissioner Sepso, Commissioner Barron has raised their hands. Commissioner Galvin is not, and Commissioner Hawkins.
No.
So we have 2 opposed.
Okay, so we have a split vote.
We have a
Then
tie.
I'm going to okay, then I vote to as an aye to the motion before here, and that therefore the motion will pass, that Ms. Thompson will be coming back in 2 months.
Thank you.
For clarification,
Okay.
what's the process now? Obviously, we're gonna be back here in 2 months. I understand that. What's the
Can you
process?
guys hear me? I'm sorry again.
What is the process in 2 months to come back with just 2 additional appraisals, or?
Yeah, it's basically the same.
And again, excuse me.
It's basically the same thing. She submits 2 new samples and we do this again after reviewing those samples.
Very good. Thank you.
Can I just make a suggestion? In reviewing her work, unlike other people that we've had reviewed in the past, the only thing I heard that was really a criticism was a couple of selection of comps that might have been closer. I didn't really hear anything about her adjustments or her selection of the stuff that she did select, etc. So I think that to guide her a little bit, we need to somehow communicate to her. Perhaps Commissioner Barron or Commissioner Sepso can communicate to her before she brings these other 2 appraisals back up of what the commission is trying to look for that she needs to work on to demonstrate that she has the experience.
Fine. I'm concerned about the comp selection, obviously, as you got. The ones that she chose, I found better ones. I also noticed some of the adjustments, not bracketing the living area. Said too that she had one on a busy road, no comment about it. There was a lot of it. The details of the report are very limited. So my biggest thing is obviously that's, my pet peeve all the time is when it comes down to the value. And these are concerns that I have. I didn't bring it up, but she has an acre of land on these that she made no adjustment for something that has less than a half an acre. So I'm a little concerned about her adjustments and her comp selection.
So she comes back with more explanation on her adjustments and maybe a more thorough view of her comps, selection of her comps. Okay.
For clarification, so we're going to submit 2 more appraisals in 2 months, and those are the ones we're going to talk about in 2 months?
Yeah, these will not talk about anymore, just the 2 that you submit.
Very good. Thank you. All right, we'll get that to you.
Yeah, so Mr. Burke, those 2 reports that you submit, if you want to address those to us as the client, you can do that rather than picking 2 that you may not have any 2 good ones or whatever come up in the next couple of months. Do that where you can actually maybe add a cost approach to it that you normally wouldn't, or make more adjustments and be more thorough in your writing or something like that. Because the purpose of this is try to demonstrate that, Sarah, that you have the ability. You obviously communicated very well in talking, but it's communicating the actual report. Okay. That's what I believe Commissioner Barron is looking for. So, all right.
Excuse me, and just to clarify, that meeting will be May 11th, just to have a save a date for Ms. Thompson and Mr. Burke. That will be May 11th at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Excuse
you
me,
for your
Commissioner.
time.
Yes, commissioners, we have Commissioner Sepso. She has to leave the meeting at this time. So she will be logging off now, just to let you know, Commissioner Rasmussen.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to old business. Number 3, discussion on new AQB criteria regarding courses. What was Linda, is there what we have here to go over?
You're muted, Linda.
Hello?
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, John. You had wanted to continue this discussion to this meeting. The AQB is going to allow courses that are going to be synchronous to not have, if I might get the right one, synchronous, I get them confused, not to have IDEC, but the AQB can do the approval themselves, so they won't be requiring IDEC approval. So you guys
Okay.
had wanted to continue the discussion.
I open up to members of the commission on this topic. Anything to be discussed? Anything open to the general public who may have a question, concern, or comment to be made on this topic?
I have no hands
Mine
raised,
is
Commissioner
it gonna,
Rasmussen.
excuse me?
Oh, I have no hands raised, Commissioner Rasmussen, just letting you know.
Okay, thank you. My question is this going to make much of a difference in the process for schools, for the consumer, for the appraiser out there, or is this more of a procedural thing that when we get down to it?
I think it's probably more of a procedural thing. It may actually cost the schools a little less money. Jackie, am I correct in that? Because I know getting IDEC approval can be quite expensive.
I know that, sorry, I apologize, I'm a little under the weather, folks. I know that the national office is the only, ones that handle the IDEC approval. The local chapters don't. But it is, I believe it's very expensive for them to be submitting it. And for the synchronous, it's live and interactive. So I don't think that it's going to change the experience for the student taking the class. I think the IDEC was more for the online classes where you go from section to section and when you don't have an instructor with you at all times. But I could be wrong, and maybe Jim as an instructor might have more to add to that.
Right, so the live virtual classes will not, because at one point, some of the schools or some of the states were requiring them to have IDEC.
Okay. I have no other questions. I just thought it was more of a procedural thing. And, John Q. appraiser and Mary P. consumer wouldn't even know that there's been a change or be impacted on it. That's my view from the 5,000 foot level.
That's how I'm looking at it, that, we won't, as an appraiser, know the difference. It's, more procedural, more a cost savings for the schools, more a quicker process to get things approved.
Okay, fair enough. If there are no other further questions by members of the commission or the public, we will then move on to number 4 of the old business.
No further questions.
Okay, that being said, thank you. There are then, I think we already covered this, the monthly report on complaints earlier here. Linda, you took care of that under the investigation division category. So we kind of double dip there. Okay.
Okay.
Now we open it up to new business.
No, JR?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I had sent Kurt, I'm going to say his name wrong and I apologize. Bachnick's 2 reports that you had wanted to see, and I apologize. I totally forgot you had asked him to come back to this meeting back in January. And he's not on the agenda, so he needs to be added under old business. He is here. I did send you his reports.
Very good. Thank you. As I, again, kind of flying a little blind here. Very good. And I do have them printed out here, the reports. So first of all, we need to add to the agenda, Mr. Kurt. And is he available? Is he online or?
Yes, I am.
Mic
Can you hear
opened
me?
up, please? Yes, we can. Can
Okay,
you please
excellent.
pronounce your last name so I don't mispronounce it?
Sure, absolutely. Boutnick.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Add
Bach.
him to the agenda first.
Yeah, that's what we're going to
Correct.
do right now, Norris. I need a motion to add Mr. Kurt Bachnick onto today's agenda. Can I have, please?
I make a motion that we add him on.
All right,
I'll
John
second it.
makes the motion. Can I get a second, please?
Second,
Second.
John beat Norris to the punch. That being said, questions, concerns? Hearing none. Ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstentions. So, Mr. Bachnick, you are on the agenda. Very good.
Thank you.
Again, I can't see. Mr. Bachnick, are you there? Are you with, is a sponsor with you? I can't see, so I have to ask.
Could you turn on your camera,
Okay,
please,
so-
Mr. Bachnick?
Mr. Bachnick, can you please give your name, spelling of your last name for the record, and your place of business?
Sure. My name is Kurt Boutnick. Last name is Bauknecht. And Saldo Appraisal Services, 7547 Savin Avenue, West Haven, 06516.
Thank you very much. Is your sponsor there with you?
Joanne?
Yes, she is on.
Yeah, she should be
He
on.
has to unmute.
Okay. All
I've
right.
asked her to unmute.
If
Okay, I'm all set.
she's off,
There you go.
Yep.
all right, very good. Could you give your name, please, spelling of your last name and your place of business, please, for the record?
Joanne Ansaldo. My last name is Ansaldo. Ansaldo Appraisal Services at 754 Savin Avenue, West Haven, Connecticut, 06516.
Very good. Thank you. As you've probably been listening to, and you know kind of the rules, we will keep this within 20 minutes, questions by the commission and so forth. I can ask questions of the chair. I don't vote unless there is a tie. That's kind of the ground rules, so you know what we're getting into here. And therefore, I'm going to open up the first question, and that is, I've looked at your report on 192 Auburn Street in Naugatuck.
Okay.
Mr. Bachnick, you have that there available?
Yes, I do.
All right, very good, thank you. And I just want to know your thought process when going through the appraisal report. I can see that it was built in '06, and you think it has an effective age of about 10 years. And you make a note in the comments that in the last 15 years, from the inspection, it was noted that, what we say here, that no updates were done in the prior 15 years. And then when I go over to page 3, you say you have an estimating remaining economic life of 90 years. So I just wanted to get your thoughts of what you think of a house like this, and how did you come to a forecasted economic life of 90 years, or remaining economic life, or a total economic life of 100 years for the property? So I just wanted to know your thought process on that, please.
Okay. It is a newer build. It has not been updated. So over the course of its life, it has some wear and tear, and not being fully renovated this many years down the line. I put the economic life at 10 years with the remainder of 90 to go.
Okay. How did you come to a total or forecast of the economic life of the entire building for 100 years? Is that common in the market, or how did you come to
Yes,
100
yeah,
years?
it's a newer build with newer materials. It can certainly go farther than 100 years, but 100 years is a benchmark that I like to use with this age house and construction materials. Some of the older houses of the 40s and 50s certainly have really good materials, different types of woods and things of that nature for the building. So I would also put them at an economic life of 100 years. So that's pretty much my benchmark for the building materials and construction.
Okay, thank you. Other members of the commission, if you have questions, feel free, please.
I do, obviously. I do have concerns about this report.
Okay.
I'm looking at the photos and it looks like there's moss all over it. There's no comments about that. I'm not sure if that is what that is. I think that's what it is. But you value it as a C3, which says there are some improvements instead of a C4. Your comment is you put the most weight on comp 1 because it had the least net adjustments. It really should be about gross adjustments. You're making a lot of adjustments on this property, and you're weight on that comp 1.
Mm-hmm.
When you call it a colonial, and it's a cape. So I don't, I'm very concerned about that as well. And then the last concern I have is for a land that's twice the size. Now, adjustment for that. I did find a better comp, 81 Tyler. Why did you not use 81 Tyler?
I just felt that these were the three best to what I saw on my inspection, and wanted to make sure that I was bracketing out the GLA, and I liked the sale dates on these as well. Really try to keep as close as I can to the current date. So these were the ones that I thought worked the best. The net adjustments are fairly similar. Gross adjustments, I do see that, it's a little bit lower than comp number 1. I just felt that Osborne was really most like my subject property.
Why did you not use 81 Tyler? It's a smaller, and it's closer in size. I mean, you picked a 2,500 square foot building compared to a 2,100.
The 2593 was to bracket the GLA on the high end.
Again, the comp that I found was 2,200, which is larger.
And comp number 1 is very similar in age as well. It's similar developments of newer construction. What's the age here? Yeah, I mean, it was 1 year younger. Number 3 is 1 year older. So that brackets the age pretty nicely. 400 square feet difference. I don't think it's that big of a difference.
Do you have this one in your work file? 81 Tyler is built the same year. Do you have that in your work file?
Yes. '81 Tyler. I have 76 Tyler. Is the one I chose.
Just moving on to your other report. Again, as another comp selection, your comp 3, your condo that you took outside. Why did you not take 5 Caldwell, where these are very similar, but 5 Caldwell has a finished basement. Your subject has a finished basement. It has a newer date, and you took the older one without the finished basement. So why would you do that?
again, I felt like this was a good comparable. And since my other two have the finished lower level, this kind of gives you an idea of one that doesn't. And it's a similar complex that's south of 84. I really didn't want to go north of 84 on this one because the values change in Danbury once you get north of 84.
Yeah, I just found a comp in the same complex, so that is closer to what the actual subject is. It
Well,
does
I have
but
two that are in the same complex.
I understand, I'm talking about the third comp.
Right,
It
outside.
looks like to me, you just find three comps, the closest ones, and that's what you take. That's what it appears to me. You don't really research.
That's
the
not my
rest of them.
intention. I really do read through this stuff and try to come up with what I think is the best comparable once I've inspected the property.
Well, in your work file then?
I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't hear.
Number 5 called.
Yeah, I
in
can't hear
your work
either.
file.
I'm sorry, you have to ask that again, please.
Number 5 Caldwell,
Yes.
that in your work file.
It is on the MC, but it is not printed out the full MLS, just the comparable sales that I used for that complex, or full MLS sheets. But it is on the MC as part of my search results.
Is a newer comp and it, like, again, had a finished basement. So again, after reviewing this work, I can't see moving you along at this point. That's my opinion.
Mr. Botnick,
Yes.
is these reports put forth, are these 100% your work or 50% your work, or?
I would say that they're about 75% my work. Joanne is a pillar to lean on. She really does work with me. If I have any questions, she's there always. We do review some of the comp selections. For example, like I was saying with 84, keeping below 84 because the values are substantially different. And with some of the inspections, I'm there because the lenders allow me to be, and on some of them, she's there with me. So she is quite involved with it. And if I have any real questions, she's always there, but she does kind of steer me with what to do and how to say things as well. That was sort of the last go around that some of my writing needed to be improved on. And that's what we really focused on here. And I am required to provide a comp outside of the complex. And that's the one I chose.
All right, did you ever address why comp 1 on 192, you have colonial instead of being a Cape? Did you ever address that?
192, which comparable are you talking about? Osborne on 192 Auburn?
Yeah, 250 Osborne. You have listed as a colonial, it's a Cape.
Let me take a look at that. All right, well, that definitely is a Cape. Yeah, and that would be a drop box click misprint that I didn't pick up on. But it's still 2-level living. Yeah, so small clerical error there. My apologies.
John or Norris, do you have any questions?
My one question is, both these, if I'm reading them right, both just have 3 comps on each report, correct? Do you typically just put 3 in, or do you all often use? for-
Sometimes I put in an active. The one on, is it Auburn? One of them I didn't have any. That would be Sienna, I think. Is that the one? Yeah, on Sienna, I put appraiser was unable to provide 2 active listings as required by the lender due to the lack of inventory. The appraiser was unable to meet this request. So I do look for actives.
No,
as
not
well.
necessarily listings. I'm talking about additional sales.
Usually it's 3 to 4 sales.
All right, but these didn't have 3 or 4 sales because?
These I just utilized 3. I mean, are you suggesting that I should be using more sales?
Well, I think what I heard so far is that the concern is, are you considering more, or are you just stopping at the 3 most comparable and then finishing the report? Are you actually?
Oh, I consider them all, but yeah, I consider them all. I usually settle on what I feel are the top 3. And my clients seem to like that. I don't get requests for reviews for my comp selections. So my clients seem to be very happy with it. But I do consider all of them and usually settle on 3 sales in an active if it's available.
John, do you have other questions?
No, I don't have any other questions at this time.
Okay, Norris, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, Shauna, you have any others?
May I comment, Jerry?
Yes, I'm going to come right over in a second.
Okay.
Just, I'm going to open it up. Okay.
Yeah, I have no more
Again,
questions.
I'm sorry, I'm flying a little blind. I'm flying a little blind here. So, Shauna, do you have any other?
No, I have no more questions at this time.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. I'm going to ask one other question here, and then I will open it up to you folks. Okay. Mr. Botnick, how long have you been appraising?
I've had a provisional for 6 years, but really in earnest over the past 1.5, 2 years, where I've done
Okay.
a lot of work with. Once I made a connection with Joanne, who could actually give me the work and keep me busy. So really over the past 1.5, 2 years.
All right then. And the areas, and again, I know we talked now 2 months ago, excuse me.
Mhm.
What's your area of or your geographical specialty area, or the area that you cover?
I cover New Haven County, Fairfield, and on occasion southern Litchfield. You know, I might go to Watertown, but I usually stop at Waterbury.
Okay.
Where I went to
All
high
right.
school, so I
And
know that town quite well.
Okay. Your experience is more with single family residential, or are you doing 2-family multis or a condo?
I'm doing
what has been
primarily single family. I do enjoy the multifamilies as well. I own a couple of them, and with my brokerage business, I really do enjoy the multifamilies. But I'd say it's maybe about 70-30, 60-40 on the single over multis. But I do enjoy the multis. I don't know, maybe because I'm a broker and I'm into it and I own some of them, and it's fun. It's fun to go into other people's houses, basically, you know. But I do enjoy
is it okay? Miss Joanne, you had mentioned you wanted to ask a question or make a statement or a comment.
Yes, so I don't think you were aware, Jerry. I don't know if you were at the last meeting, but we had a meeting with Linda Sepso, and Linda met with us, and we took some time to clean up the reports where she saw some weaknesses. Her feeling was that, you know, there was just, they were a little sloppy. That's all. She spell check. And she addressed the land value. And she just thought that if we clean this stuff up, it would be good. And we met with her. As far as my supervisory position, I'm very involved. As you know, because I've been before you a couple of times, but I review everything. Every report I review, I discuss things. They provide me with the sales that they're going to use. We go over them, we discuss them, I disregard some. And one of the ones that Shauna mentioned was Highland, which is nowhere as comparable in Naugatuck. That's on a main road. Those particular comps in that report are in developments of newer homes. So that's why they were chosen. Kurt did, on that particular assignment, give me something that I disregarded and said, no, I don't feel that that's comparable. You got a newer home. So we're very involved. And this is the second time that he's been before you. And I think the selections of comparables are really an opinion of the person after they've inspected the home. So we could all say, well, you know, why didn't you use this sale? Why didn't you use that sale? There's a lot of things we could have done, but I think at the end of the day, the values would be very similar.
So Joanne, you
Okay.
said, I said Highland, for what report are you
I
talking
think
about?
you were asking me about, you asked Kurt about Highland in Naugatuck
For what report?
for Auburn,
No, 81 Tyler,
Tyler or Highland?
Tyler Hill it's called.
Oh, I'm
81
sorry. Then I
Tyler.
misunderstood you. I thought you said Highland because that's a main road.
No, I did not ask that.
Also, what we went over with Linda during that meeting was just trying to write a little bit better, trying to put simply what's in your mind onto the paper. And I've been really working hard on that. If you look at Sienna and the supplemental page where I'm describing on this one, actually why I couldn't come into value. Joanne had the really good idea of when I put my subject aerial map up to really play around with that and look at neighboring properties and parks and what's really in the neighborhood. So that's helped me to tighten up that. And that was really the other side with what we talked with Linda, was trying to get what's in your mind onto the paper simply so that any reader could read it, and try to just expand a little bit more on my writing skills.
Okay. And you met with Ms. Sepso via
Zoom.
Teams, or did you meet in person, or?
The three of us met via Zoom.
Okay, Zoom, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yep.
In the Teams world.
It was a
Okay.
good conversation.
Okay. And when did this take place?
3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay. Very good.
Yep. Yes, no, she was really good.
Any
She
other
told me to
questions?
write like an 8th grader, which I really liked. I thought that was really good.
Just add, since
Um,
Joanne talked about the comps, when you take a comp that's, 20% smaller or larger, sorry, and I find one that's a lot closer, and you put the wrong label of style, and you mention that the property has, you tell me that the least amount of net adjustments, which is nothing, that you should really be doing that up to gross adjustments. And being a current report and 2 reports that you were able to pick to me, I expected them almost flawless. So
Well, we're not,
I have a lot of
we're
problems.
not perfect, Shauna. I'm sorry. You know, we are not perfect.
Perfection,
We
but-
try to be, but we're not.
fortunately, it's my position here to review these, and that's what I find.
So this is John Galvin. I just have one question, Joanne. You realize that when this process is done, Kurt can go out and take the exam, and if he passes it, in your opinion, based on his experience, now he's been focusing now for an appraisal, as you said, for 1.5 years, 2 years, but he has this other real estate experience, which
Right.
definitely adds to the process. If he suddenly got his license, he showed up to appraise your house, would you feel very comfortable with him appraising your house?
I absolutely would. I think that he's very knowledgeable and with his real estate background is a plus. I have to tell you, I have 3 provisionals under me right now, and he's my best one. I have another one in Litchfield County. I don't think you'll ever see her sit before you because it's my feeling that she cannot get there. Kurt has worked very hard, has a lot of experience. And I spend a lot of time with them. Like I said, I put packets, I review each and every report. And in the total program where it allows you to put these red bubbles and notes. So I do the reports, and every report they get back with all my comments, where all the errors that they made and what I changed. So I'm very, very involved. And I do feel confident he will do quite well.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. I am working really hard on this, and I do believe that my real estate experience is unique with this because I am actually physically dealing with buyers and sellers on the brokerage side. I know what's in their heads. I know what matters. I understand what they're saying to me. And I try to bring that experience into the appraisal side to get an understanding of values and what people are thinking literally out there as a buyer or seller. And I appreciated Linda's comments about getting what's into my head onto the paper in simple terms with the writing, which is something that I feel that I've always struggled with. I've always been a numbers person, but the writing is tricky, especially after 18 years of writing gleaming hardwood floors and open concepts and all this other stuff for real estate, which is a no-no on the appraisal. So it's almost like I got to learn a different language here. But I certainly appreciate Joanne's help with that. She knows how to say things in the appraisal world. So I'm really hoping that you consider me strongly to take this test.
Very good.
Joanne's not going anywhere.
Thank you.
Either, so.
Thank you. Okay. Any final questions from members of the commission? Hearing none. Anything else from you, and Kurt and Joanne?
I'm all set. Thank you very much.
I'm all set. Thank you very much.
I open up to the commission. Can I have a motion on this application, please?
Another motion, just like the last time, that we wait 2 more months and 2 more examples to come back.
I have a motion on the floor by Shauna to deny and to have come back in 2 months with 2 additional samples. Do I have a second on that motion? Call for a second time, a second for that motion. Third and final time, a second on that motion. There's no second on that motion. Okay, is there any other motion to be put forth on the floor?
This is John.
Again, is there any motion to be put on the floor?
I make a motion that we accept his work as submitted.
John has made a motion to accept the work as presented. Calling for a second to that motion.
I'll second it.
I have a second by Norris. Comments, questions, statements, anything to be said by members of the commission on the motion on the floor?
I do think that you guys are really not looking at quality of work, and it's a shame that we're going to put appraisers out there that are just giving out wrong values. And I have to reconsider what I'm doing here.
Any other statements or comments?
Just as John, I've looked at what Kurt did. We're here last time, and I looked at what he did this time, and I think there's a substantial improvement. I do know the Danbury market area is very tricky to appraise in because I work in that market on a regular basis. And do subdivisions and condominium developments and things like that. So I understand that. But I think as in our first thing, you still have to keep working on communication. But to me, I think he has demonstrated that he's on that track. So I'm in favor of approving him.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I would agree that he's
Any other-
improving, but I don't know about improving means we just pass somebody.
Any other comments by the members of the commission? Hearing none, then I call this to vote. Ayes on the motion to accept?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
I'm a nay.
Okay, so we have a 2-1, therefore it will pass. Mr. Bognet, now you can check with Linda and follow the process and procedures for the next step for taking the exam and what have you. We
Okay.
wish you nothing but success and within the business.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your time on this.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Under new business, excuse me, Linda, is there anything else under old business that I'm missing?
No, there's not.
Okay, thank you. So now I turn to new business. And we have number 1, Angela Haggerty, an RSP seeking extension of provisional license. Is Ms. Haggerty on the, on the line with us or joining us today?
Jerry, she is not. We can withdraw this. She was seeking an extension, but she passed her RCR exam, so she is all set to upgrade.
Okay, so we just take that off, good for her. Okay.
Yep.
So that goes off, okay. Number 2, Byron Francis, an RSP seeking extension of provisional license. Is
Mr. Francis is with us.
Byron,
Chairperson Rasmussen.
is he with us here?
He is with
Hi,
us.
good
and-
morning. Can you hear me?
Yep. Could you turn your camera on,
Yes,
please,
I
Mr.
can.
Francis?
I've been trying to work that angle. Give me 1 second here.
If-
Hold on, here we go. Okay, can you see me now?
Yes, we can. Thank
Okay,
you.
awesome. Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning, sir. For the record, could you please give your full name, spelling of your last name, and your place and your address of employment?
Sure, my full name is Byron Francis. My last name is Francis, and I work at 525 Meriden Road in Waterbury for Diorio Appraisal Services.
So, Mr. Francis, you are seeking extension of your provisional license. Linda, can you please give us the necessary background?
Yeah, actually, Byron is ready to upgrade. He did submit his logs to us. Unfortunately, they came in after the supplemental went out. So that's why he's not on the agenda actually under new business to upload or for log approval. So he is ready to do that, but his 6 years will be up before he's able to go through the process.
Okay, so that's 6 years. So I clarify, Linda, when is the end date? April 30th
Correct.
of this year?
Correct.
Okay. So, this is for my edification. So therefore, he has to have his samples, or we have to approve his log. We have to select samples. He's got to submit samples, and he's got to, get past that level before he takes the exam. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. I mean, I have his log.
Yes.
I can send it to, and it's residential, correct? Byron?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it is, Linda.
So I can send it out and ask Shauna and Linda to pick a couple samples and he can come in May for the sample select, sample review, or we can look at the logs in May. That's up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask another question here. Has all the coursework been completed?
Yes,
Yes, it-
I have his entire packet.
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to get a level set here on my.
Yeah,
on-
no, I
for my
don't
brain.
ever give you guys the logs until I have all the coursework.
Okay, fair enough. So, Mr. Francis, so how long a time were you going to request to the commission for an extension of your provisional license?
I would say up into probably June, assuming that, my samples are discussed in the May meeting.
Chair, I would recommend we give him at least 6 months because he, PSI scheduling
Well,
exams
yeah.
sometimes is also an issue.
I hear you loud and clear. That's what I was trying to remember going through my notes, what we were given extensions last month and in January for people. Was it 6 months? I want to be consistent, or consider the commission in, feel free, other commission members, jump in with questions, feel free.
Yeah, we've done either 6 months and then if they're still not there, they can come back. That's what we've done for a couple of them.
Any questions by members of the commission? Hearing none, okay. So 6 months, that would be, we'd be talking to the end of like October. So November 1, is that what you're?
That would be
Justin,
6
Linda?
months. That would be 6 months. You can do that or you can, do the entire year. That's, whatever you guys want.
I thought, if I may, I thought that there was a motion that was made by, I thought, John Galvin, relative to an extension, automatic or no?
That was you mean from last meeting?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
that was
remember.
that was those who have already been approved to sit for the
Oh,
exam.
okay. I apologize. Oh, very good. Thank you.
We're trying to be consistent, so.
Right. I
If
just want
it
to
is
make
a
sure. Thank
6-month extension, yeah, we're still being consistent of what we have been doing in the past. Am I
Correct.
correct in that?
Correct.
Okay.
John, just a quick comment. If we go 6 months, is it 6 months starting from April 1st, or are we going to include them into the November meeting? Because if we say November 1st, how does that, can we just include him in the November so he has enough time?
John, my thought was, and I may be wrong, okay, was that his license expires on April 30th. So then I'm going from that date, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right, I'm
Add
okay
the
with
6
that.
months
Okay,
to there.
I'm fine with that.
No, that's where my mind, now maybe I'm wrong, maybe others feel differently on the commission. That's okay, it's an open discussion. Others have a different opinion, please speak up.
No, 6 months from April 30th works for me.
If that's the case, would you like to make a motion?
Well, I just want to make sure, Byron, that's okay with you? That gives you enough time?
That is absolutely fine with me, sir.
Okay, I make a motion that we extend Byron Francis's extension of provisional license for 6 months from April
I'll second
30th.
it.
Okay. Okay, can I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Morris is a second. Discussion, comments, questions? Hearing none, then I'll call this to vote. Ayes to extend Mr. Francis a 6-month extension.
Aye.
Ayes,
Aye.
nays? Abstentions? Okay, Shauna, did you vote? Maybe she raised her hand, I don't know.
And she's off camera
So-
and she's on mute, so.
Okay, well, we passed this by Mr. Francis here. Okay, so Mr. Francis, you have 6 months. My only word of advice is, given COVID things, and even though we're coming out of it, not everything runs as efficiently as we would like it to. So I wouldn't dilly-dally. I would try to still keep pushing it here. You got your login, move this along. So, in case there's a bump in the road, you still have time. Don't wait to really apply this till September. I'm saying keep right on it, okay?
I fully understand and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Number 3 is Nancy Cochran, RSP, seeking extension of provisional license. Is Ms. Cochran joining us today?
She is on the meeting, Chairman Rasmussen. Ms. Cochran, if you could unmute. I see that your video went down, but you have unmuted.
Yes.
That's
Here.
okay. We have you there, Ms. Cochran. Thank you. Chairman Rasmussen.
Good
you're all
morning,
set.
Ms. Cochran.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Cochran. Can I please have, for the record, your name and spelling of your last name and your place of employment, please?
Of course. Nancy Cochran, Cochrane. And my place of business is Yankee Appraisal, 49 Forest Hill Road, North Haven, Connecticut.
All right, thank you. And your license, I would, and Linda, you want to give us the quick backgrounds for Ms. Cochran?
Yeah, so Ms. Cochran originally had an appraisal license issued in 2007. And then in 2016, when the commission made the decision that they were no longer going to extend provisional licenses and that anyone who wanted to had the option to start over, she chose to start over. And so that license from 2016 is now going to expire on April 30th. So she has had a license basically as a provisional since 2007. Correct, Nancy?
Yeah, that's correct. Here's when I passed the exam. Look how young I was. 2007, I passed the state exam first time. And I am just plugging away here. I got they erased my whole log from 2007. So I had to start over all my hours. And unfortunately, I've been dealing with, elderly parents, and for the last, 2016 through now, and then COVID struck. So I haven't been able to get my hours back up. So right now where I stand is all these years, I've been constantly keeping up with USPAP and all my continuing education. I just, I don't have enough hours in the field.
How many hours do you have at this point?
From 2007 or from
Ballpark?
2016? From 2016.
What would ever be counted on your log? 16.
From 2016, I have approximately 750 hours.
So she's halfway there.
How long of an extension were you going to seek from the commission?
I was going to seek another 6 years.
Okay. Are you working now, Nancy?
I am working. A lot of the work I do are 704s and 2055 exteriors, which are that's what my clients, that's what I deal with credit unions. I don't do a lot of I don't do any Fannie Mae work. So I don't do the UAD, the full appraisals. I do 2055s and 704s. And it's hard to get the hours racked up with those. And, I'm a mom and
Now, but you have a supervisor, correct? Obviously.
Of course. Yeah, he's here.
All right.
Oh, and I'm so sorry, my bad, because here I'm blind again. Could the supervisor please, could you give your name, spelling of your last name, and your address? Obviously I didn't see you because I can't see. Please, my apologies.
Okay, this is William Cochran, Cochrane, and my office address is 49 Forest Hill Road, North Haven, Connecticut.
Thank you. My apologies again, folks.
No
Go
problem.
ahead. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
So in doing the work that you're doing, as a commission, when you bring your work before us, it's not necessarily the type of work that you're doing. It's more or less trying to explain that you can or demonstrate that you can handle the appraisal process. So
Okay.
when that time comes and you do submit your lot, I mean, you can take a report and address it to us and beef it up or whatever. So we're the client. So you're demonstrating that you know the appraisal process. So that part of it doesn't bother me. And the question is, if you need 6 years, are you working part-time? I mean,
Yes.
like how many
Yes,
hours a week are you working?
How many hours?
Yeah.
Well, each week is different. I would say I probably average maybe 15 to 20 hours a week.
So if you're doing 15 hours a week and you're working, I'm just gonna do some math here, and you need another 750, is that what you're saying? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really only,
2,500 or 1,500? 1,500 hours?
What's that?
if you only need 750 hours and you're doing 15 hours a week, that's really only a year. I don't think we should give her 6 years. I'm just thinking,
Well, we never do more than a year at a time anyways, because that's all a license is, valid for is a maximum of a year. Nancy, can I ask you, have you done your completed all your pre-licensing coursework? And where are you with the college requirements?
Yeah, I finished all my continuing education. Yes, I've always kept up with all that.
Not the continuing ed, the pre-licensing, the 200 hours of pre-licensing.
Oh yeah, I took it all. I took it
Oh,
twice.
okay.
Yeah, I took it twice. I took it in 2007 when I was young and pretty.
So you have the 200 hours of pre-licensing work?
I do.
Okay, and then what about the college part?
The college, I have college equivalent. I have classes from Southern. I have a certificate from Stone School.
You have to see how it fits into the matrix.
So it all fits into the matrix, you're done, or you still have a couple more to fit?
That, I'm not sure. I'm kind of waiting to see if the state is going to change the legislature.
Okay, well, the AQB criteria from 2018 is in effect, so, so you can do just the courses versus having the actual degree.
Right.
That was back, in 2015, and then they changed it to the degree, and now they've gone backwards again.
Yeah, I know. So they keep going backwards,
Yeah.
and it's a little frustrating.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify where you were with everything else.
I can hear, although I don't hear her speaking, I can hear Vicky in the background thinking the principle of consistency that we've got to be looking at here. And we can't grant a 6-year extension. We've never done that anymore. That is, we will be, our hands will be more than slapped by the audit and so forth, and then put everyone's license in the state at jeopardy. I'm being very blunt, right to the point. Yes, we've extended, a year, but we've been granting 6-month extensions. If we give a 6 month, you come back here and we got to see that there's progress being made. I believe when we get audited, therefore, we are not putting other appraisal licenses in the whole state of Connecticut in jeopardy. That's my initial thinking here, but I open it up to Shauna, John, and Norris for maybe a contrary opinion and so forth. But I just want to put that on the table for discussion. No thoughts?
I'm good.
Ms. Cochran? Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Cochran?
Yes.
Could you send, I call it the matrix. Could you send Linda all the information that you have, especially with the college, what you've done so far?
I have sent everything to her.
You already have, okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
just wanted to make sure. Okay.
I actually sent it to Tim Keith before Linda.
All right, so that was way before, so we don't have that information, obviously.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I can see if it's been scanned into a file, but, you know, I'm not sure if I have it then, if it was that long ago. That was more than 12 years ago, so,
Our record retention is 7 years, generally, but
right.
Yeah.
And with the move, some things were moved over to storage, some were not, unfortunately, so, let me see what I have. But if you took the courses, that long ago, you definitely will need a new 15-hour use PAP. I can tell you that.
Oh, I did do a 15-hour use PAP in 2016.
You have to be within
Okay.
6 years.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah, so, I mean, it will count towards CE for the next cycle, so.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I'll take a look. Let me see if I can pull your file and what we have in it.
Okay.
Does anyone want to make a motion on this?
I make a motion that we extend Nancy Cochran 6 months, and then she come back in 6 months and show progress, and then we go from there.
Okay, can you tell me exactly what kind of progress you want? You want to see more hours? Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, Norris with a second. Comments? Questions? Hearing none, I call it the vote. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes? Abstentions? Is Shauna there? Okay, to make sure I'll vote aye as well then.
She,
Okay, therefore,
she's still on mute, Commissioner Rasmussen.
okay, then Ms. Cochran is, we will see you in 6 months, and that therefore, let me say this so we make sure we're all okay. Following up on where John was at, we granted the 6 months, but I believe that would get to the end of the month. I think you should meet with us in the month of October of 2022. Does that work for you, John and Norris?
That works for me.
I'm good.
All right then. And Ms. Cochran, that will work for you?
October when?
12th,
Okay,
October 12th, Wednesday,
I'll make-
October 12th at 8:30 a.m.
I'll make it work.
Very good. Thank you. We will see you then. And hopefully
Thank
you can get, keep working, and keep getting those hours built up. Okay?
I'll try. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to number 4, Lauren Lerman, RSP, seeking extension of provisional license. Terjo, is Ms. Lerman with us?
Yes, she is. She's on and she's able to speak. Ms. Lerman, you can accept the promotion to panelist if you like, so that you can come on camera, or you may just, okay, she's coming over now. And I'm assuming Craig Lerman is your sponsor or is with you? Ms. Lerman?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
He was one
sorry,
of my.
hold on one second, just 1 second.
Take your time.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Lerman, if you'd accept the promotion to panelist, Commissioner Rasmussen, we have Ms. Lerman on at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Lerman, could you give your name and spelling of your last name and business address for the record, please?
Yep, it's Lauren Lerman, Lerman, and the business address is 20 Buttermilk Lane, Branford, Connecticut 06405.
Thank you. And your sponsor is there as well?
My previous sponsor is here. My current sponsor is not. He's also going to be my sponsor again. Where you're going to just submit the paperwork.
Very good. Could you please, whomever, again, I'm blind here, I apologize. Could you give your name and spelling of your last name and business address, please?
Craig Lerman, 20 Buttermilk Lane, Branford, Connecticut. Last name is Lerman, Lerman.
Thank you very much. Linda, do you want to give us the background real quick for Miss Lerman?
She got her license in her first go around with her license to begin with in 2016. So this is her first request for an extension, and she can go ahead and tell you where she is in the process.
Okay, Ms. Lerman, the floor is yours.
Okay. So I got my provisional in 2016. I've been working towards my field hours. I've been working on my education towards the certified residential appraiser. Really in 2020 with COVID, I worked part-time in the hospitals, and they asked me to stay on full-time with them. So I really, the past year and a half, kind of fell behind in everything. I really want to continue forward with this now with the pandemic kind of winding down. I've been able to step back from that role and started focusing more on getting my licensing done. I do have about 1,300 hours of experience over the past almost 6 years, with mostly a pause from 2020, 2021. And I do have a little over half my education hours done. I did want to try and do a year extension to try and wrap up a lot of this over the next few months, but also to have time to take the exam before it expires.
Okay. Members of the commission, any questions for Ms. Lerman? Hearing none, does anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we extend her for 6 months. That's enough, Lauren?
I could try.
Well,
I guess if I
at least to come back.
Oh,
Come
sorry.
back in 6 months.
Yeah. Come back in
Okay.
6
I'll
months.
second that
Norris?
motion. I'll second
You're
that
seconding
motion.
it, Norris? Okay, comments or questions? So your view is, John, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we get granted for 6 months. Ms. Lerman then comes back and we can see where we are in the progress of that. And therefore, you know, if an extension is needed, then we address it at that time. Is that
Yes.
your thought?
That's my thoughts, and God willing, we have
Okay.
no more pandemic issues that would draw her in to have to support those efforts.
Yep. No, and we applaud you, by the way, for your contributions of trying to get over this darn thing, excuse me. All right then. No other comments, then I'll call this to vote. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? I say aye as well. Okay, Ms. Lerman, so we'll see you in October, okay?
Okay.
You know, and let's see where you are. I know you said you had 1,300 hours, if there's classes, wherever you are in the progress. Let's see where we are. And I know you've asked for a year, but we're trying to be consistent across the board for everyone here in a 6 month, okay?
Okay.
So, take no offense, but we're rooting like heck for all of you, but, we'll see you and, have a good summer, as they say.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you. Number 5, Paul Ramuni, and I hope I have not mispronounced that too bad. RSP seeking extension of provisional license. Terry Jo, is Paul with us?
He is.
Yes.
He's on camera, and there he is. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you.
Could you give your name, spelling of your last name, and your place of employment, please?
Sure. Paul Ramuni, Ramunni. I work for Thomas Appraisal Service, 275 Maple Ave, Cheshire, Connecticut. Robert Thomas is my sponsor. He's not here with me.
Okay, so none of your sponsors are with, or your sponsor or sponsors are with you this morning. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Linda, can you give us the quick background, please?
Yeah.
Or a background, doesn't have to be quick.
Yeah, this is his second provisional license. He originally was licensed in 2008. And then in 2016, he did choose to start over. And now we're here. So his work will count, going forward from 2016. and he can let you know where he is in the process.
Thank you, Linda. Yeah. I started out with a sponsor, Ray Miller, doing appraisals way back in 2008. Ray took off and gave up his license and went out to Colorado and went into a completely different business. I was able to secure another sponsor with Joshua Martin and a national company, Forsyth Appraisals. So I was working through them. They were bought out by First American company. And so I was they're both out of Minnesota, and I was working for Josh here locally, doing some appraisal work. And then First American closed up in Connecticut, and I was able to get Rob Thomas and I'm a real estate broker as well in Connecticut. I've been an agent in Connecticut for almost 30 years and a broker for 10 years. I also, in the meantime, prior to that, worked for Hamden Housing Authority and HUD doing Section 8 elderly RAP and TRAP programs. I'm a HUD inspector. So I have a background in doing that kind of housing work. I worked there for 12 years in the office and then doing the Section 8 inspections for the case files. So at any rate, coming fast forward, I hooked up with Rob Thomas, who has been able to give me work, piecemeal work through, COVID hit. And so I have a great relationship with Rob. I don't have the college requirements for the certified, to sit for the certified exam. I have about 600 hours of appraisal. I have done all the educational courses, the 200 hours, and then the continuing ed for both broker and appraisal licensing over the years. So I was hoping to get another 6-year term, but obviously I heard on the last prior person that you guys don't do that anymore. So I am kind of in a holding pattern here to see if I can continue, with employment, doing appraisals and working towards the hours.
Approximately how many hours do you have?
About 600 or so, little over 600 hours since the last 6-year term.
How many hours a week do you work now doing appraisal?
With COVID, there wasn't that much. It's actually picked up lately, probably 15, 20 hours a week.
And what do you have left for coursework?
I have some courses that I had taken at Southern years ago. They don't qualify. So I'd have to take the courses. I frankly thought that Connecticut was still requiring a 2-year associate's degree. So I was hoping that would change. And apparently I have to redo courses to sit for the certified. So I'd have to investigate that further.
So you don't have a plan right now on what to do for the coursework?
Not yet, because I didn't realize that those requirements had changed. I had looked into other states which had changed them, and I thought Connecticut was still a 2-year associate's degree.
I mean, a 2-year associate's is one option. The other option is the equivalent coursework.
Oh, okay, because I thought they did away with the equivalent coursework. I checked the website and I must have read it wrong, or I don't know if it's been updated, but. So I didn't.
Your supervisor should also be guiding you on this too. That's just seems to be a red flag to me. Is your supervisor, have you talking about this with your supervisor?
Yeah, oh yeah. I've been going back and forth with them, and it's the coursework. I've always been more of a hands-on person, so taking online classes and so forth for the coursework, I could certainly do. I haven't yet because, like I said, I was kind of under the impression it was a associate's degree was required. So I've just been kind of doing the appraisal work in the meantime, as works become available.
Mr. Romano,
Yes,
Mr. Romano,
Ramuni, yeah,
can you send in the paperwork so we see what you got,
sure.
what you've done so far?
The course logs, the appraisal logs.
The matrix, everything. Let's see
Okay,
what you have. You know, your
Okay.
college, everything.
okay. That's fine.
You know, yeah, I like to see it.
So
Okay,
I'm kind of thinking, I think where Norris is going here, Paul,
Can we
is,
see him in 6 months? We
No.
just see him in 6 months?
no, I'm wondering if it might be more prudent, Jerry, jump in, Shauna, that maybe if he comes back for our April meeting with his plan for the next 6 months. What's going, why is Terry Jo shaking her head?
Someone's phone is ringing?
Oh, I thought you were disagreeing with what I
No,
said.
no, 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 not at all. No, no. I'm sorry about that. My apologies. It's just the ringing of the phone. That was it.
I wasn't sure if you were disagreeing with me or maybe didn't like my tie all of a sudden.
Not at all.
But
Not
Paul,
at all.
I just think it might be more appropriate that, because you've been going on since 2008. And I know you've jumped around a little bit in different things in real estate. You're still in real estate, you're still learning, et cetera. But I think maybe if you come in April with your sponsor, who can also confirm this, and you actually come up with a plan of what you're going to do, then we can extend you for, then decide if we can extend you for 6 months along with that plan, because it's right now, I just hate to say 6 months because you seem to be scattered, is what I'm saying.
yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I appreciate it.
And Paul, I can email you exactly what you need to send me.
Okay,
Do we need to make a vote on this, Jerry?
Yeah,
No, I don't think so. I think that if we just
continue it.
just put Mr. Yeah, we continue him to the April agenda. That
Got
work
it.
for you, Vicky, on the legal side? Maybe Vicky's not there.
Yeah, she's
Linda,
here.
you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, that's what we'll do. So Mr. Ramuni, excuse me, we'll see you next month, and we would like to see what your plan of attack is, okay?
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Number 6, Christian Chowowski, RSP seeking extension of provisional license. Is Ms. Chowowski joined us today?
Yes, she has.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Good morning. Could you please give your name, spelling of your last name, and place of employment for the record?
It's Kristen Chakowski, CIECHOWSKI. I work with Burke Appraisal, 58 Commerce Street, Clinton, Connecticut.
Very good. Oh boy. And is your sponsor with you?
Yes, he is. I'm under Sarah Thompson's computer, so I'm under Sarah. I'm hiding out,
Okay.
but I've been called worse.
For the record, could you please give your name and spell the last name? I know you've done it already earlier today, but on each one, it's part of the process.
No problem.
And your place of employment. Thank you.
Christopher Burke, BURKE, 58 Commerce Street, Clinton, Connecticut.
Thank you. Linda, can you please give us the parameters or the background?
Yep. So she was, she had her first provisional license from 2013 to 2016. And then in 2016, she was one of the ones who did choose to start over with a new 6 years. And so that 6 years is now up at the end of the month, or at the end of April.
Okay. All right. Ms. Chakowski, would you like you give us where you stand in the process, coursework, hours worked, and so forth?
Well, I did complete the Associates of Business Administration, so I have completed the college requirement. I have not completed the 200 hours of coursework or the 1,500 hours experience. Unfortunately, until recently, I was under the impression that the bachelor's degree was still required. That requirement has now been dropped, and I was waiting to find out about that before I went further.
And
So-
Kristen has worked for me as administratively since 2011 or so. 2012. So while she doesn't have, she has extensive background in appraising and completing appraisals in the appraisal process. She was held up quite a bit. We were waiting to get approval of the associate's degree, and she did achieve that. What threw her off is from what I understand, the state of Connecticut didn't acknowledge that plan until recently, and she was trying to achieve her associate's degree in order to get her license, and she thought it was going to become earlier. She has far more experience than she's leading to believe. Part of our question to you as a panel is, can her capacity as administrative be applied to her 1,500 hours?
I mean, it would depend on what do you mean by administrative?
She helps prepare the reports and that type of thing.
I mean, is she looking at the properties, choosing the comparables, determining value?
Sometimes we do it together. Typically, I look at the properties to be, and then we usually have conversations about a lot of the comparables we do in the appraisal process and that type of thing. But I typically do the inspections myself. Here's a lot of the administration.
Linda, do we have, okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Linda, do you have detail of where Ms. Chakowski's application is at? Or is this something like what we just did with Mr. Ramuni, that we table, come back next month, but give us what courses have you taken? What courses do you need, if any? How many hours do you have, if any? And what your plan of attack may be moving forward? Does that sound, and I'm talking generally to Linda, Ms. Chakowski, Mr. Burke, John and Norris, and Shauna. Does that sound like a plan so we can make an intelligent decision here?
Well, I can tell you that my plan of attack is to finish the 1,500 hours and the 200 hours of coursework. Again, I was kind of in a hold mode until I found out about the bachelor's degree requirement being dropped. So that's where I'm at now, is finishing up the 200 hours and the 1,500 hours.
So how many hours do you have of coursework done of the 200? And how many?
Of the 200, I only have the 75, the original 75 hours.
All right, and then the use path won't count because it'll be 6 years, so it'll be too old, so you'll
That's
need
fine.
another one of those, so.
Right.
So really, you only have 60 hours of the
Okay.
200 done.
Mhm.
Realistically, I have a question. Obviously, this is not going to be done in 6 months. I heard the conversations before. If we come up with a plan, Kristen has achieved her associate's degree, which took some time, and we were waiting for that to take an effect, which it appears to have. Can she, it's going to take still 2 years at least to complete this. Is that a reasonable expectation, or are we, or not? That was sort of my question. If we come up with a definitive game plan, she has the education requirements now. But it's not going to be done in 6 months realistically, and I'm not going to pretend it will be.
Well, Chris, if she's been doing, some sort of review work, your question earlier, I think as part of her log, some of that would count that she was reviewing.
Right, she has to, she can't just be typing the report.
Yeah. We're kind of looking for in that log, we're actually looking for progress to show that
of course
started here and they kept going, which often does not get conveyed when people submit those logs. So, if she's over the next 6 months, if she continues into, it sounds like she can get another at least 300 or 400 hours in right there. But I think she can take some of the courses too. And then we review. Now, if she's showing progress, I can't speak for everybody, only myself, but I don't think I would definitely deny her another 6-month extension. But,
Okay.
I don't know if she needs 2 years because the coursework she can obviously get done in a reasonable period of time. And it sounds like she can, if she's working for you full time, can get the work done.
Okay.
That's my
I think there's a bigger question here too, John. You touched upon it, is we've got to be consistent and we've got to show progress. But I also, when we get audited, we don't want to put in jeopardy all the other appraisers' licenses in the state with the feds. And we entered into an arena when it was done 6 years ago. I'm scratching my head and saying, my golly, 6 years have already come that quick. Here it is. I think we also need a touch of guidance of how the feds are looking at this as well. And I think the 6 month, we grant it. We've done that. Kristen comes back. We look at what progress is being done. Maybe there's an extension. I believe then when we get audited, and we will, as we all know, therefore we have used a huge dose of common sense, and therefore they're showing progress, and we're not jeopardizing everyone else. That's where I'm coming from. So we're being consistent. Kristen, due to whatever reasons, is showing, couldn't do it before, showing progress. And I think, and I would like to get clarification here, before we get back to next October here from our friendly folks at the Fed, that we're not putting anybody in jeopardy. That's that's my thought process. I think where you're coming from as well. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Mr. Chairman?
John? Yes.
Mr. Chairman? Kristen, can you give us a game plan? I mean, come back in a month and tell us what you're going to do for the next 6 months?
I can tell you right now, in the next 6 months, I can get that 200 hours coursework done and some headway on the 1,500 hours experience.
Okay, well, that's fine. We just want to know what you're going to do over the next 6 months.
Yeah, in the next 6 months, like I said, the 200 hours coursework and should be completed, and headway on the 1,500 hours experience.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Well, hearing that,
Does anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we extend Kristen's 6 months.
I'll second it.
Or second comments, suggestions? Hearing none, call the vote. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Okay, we passed. Okay, Kristen, we will see you in, good luck. Knock them out. And we see you in October, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your
Very
time
good.
today. And we'll see you in
Thank
2
you.
months. We'll see you again in 2 months. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Bye.
Number 7, new business. Audrey Cole, seeking equivalent education for the course, Understanding and Preventing Racial Bias in Real Estate, 3 hours. This is a mandatory real estate course. Is Ms. Cole with us today?
No.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to point out one thing. We have number 7 there. If we go to our agenda, see if I can get my hands on it quick here. We approved a course. I'm looking for, number AAL 901, Fair Housing Bias and Discrimination for 4 hours of CE by McKissick. So I think we got a couple of courses here banging down the same door, so to speak. What school did she take this from, this 3 hours?
Terry Jo, do you have the certificate? I'm not sure. It's the course that all salespeople and brokers in Connecticut have to take. It was written by Carr in conjunction with the Department of Fair Housing.
Okay, then my next question is the principle of consistency. Have we historically granted this this course credit in the past?
It's a brand new course that was required this year for brokers and salespeople.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any knowledge or anything on the, or they know someone who's taught it, taken it, or reviewed it, anything? Because I have not. No. Any thoughts, members of the commission? Donna, John, Norris?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Any thoughts on this?
No, I'm good.
On this on the agenda? It's the way of the world. I know there's been a lot of presentations on bias. It doesn't have to be all racial. It was for all different aspects. Where it's 2022, and you know we're going to see more courses with it here. I think if this is the first time, I think I'd be willing to err on the side of caution, meaning approve it for this cycle. You know, if others come through, and let's see where this goes, because there have been issues brought up that addressing this issue in all aspects of real estate, appraisal, you know, dollars are being spent in this arena by our folks out of Washington, you know, to address this within the appraisal field as well. So that's just my general, you know, knee-jerk reaction. And it's open for anybody else's comments or thoughts.
I'm okay with approving it. That, you know, in the USPAP class that was recently taught, we're touching on the subject now and through the Appraisal Institute, and they do bring up in this outline that we have, they do bring up the I believe it's the New York Times article.
Yeah.
So I'm game for approving this for 3 hours of continuing education credit for this particular cycle.
Don, do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion that
I'll
we
make a motion.
give Norris. I've made all the other
You got
ones.
me,
Norris,
John.
I don't
You got me, John.
I make a motion that we approve this understanding and preventing racial bias in real estate for 3 hours of continuing education for this cycle.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Discussion? Okay, I'll call it the vote. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye, good. Then we approve it for Ms. Cole for 3 hours. And if we could make a note in our minutes or what have you, or, you know, crib notes, whatever, but if others will be applying for this cycle, I think, you know, just to remind us that we've granted this, and, you know, so we're being consistent moving forward for this cycle. Okay. Great, thank you. Okay, now we move to number 8. Joseph Holstein.
Jerry, before we move on, I got a quick, Jerry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Commissioner, as Norris has been referring.
Go ahead.
When we just approve this, are we approving it so that that anybody can submit it, or just this one individual? Because
The one
Just this
individual.
one individual.
because you got a lot
Yeah,
of
just the
appraisers out there,
individual.
a lot of appraisers out there who also wear the you know, the agent broker hat, and I'm wondering if we just approve it so that if someone does submit it, it counts. Can we do that? Can we
John,
make-
they have to go through a school application, or, you know, a
That's right,
course
that's right,
application.
okay. All right.
Someone,
Yeah, so each
Someone's
person
gotta
has
put
to
that
come,
forth.
but, you know, if they come next month, it'll be a quick, we already approved this one, so a quick motion.
okay, John?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just didn't know if it was actually coming from a school, if, you know, GAR was considered a school or.
Yeah, it was just an individual asking, so. All right, it was a good question, though. 8, Joseph Holstein seeking equivalent education for IAAO course, what's going down in commercial real estate for 2 hours? Is Mr. Holstein with us?
No, he is not chairperson, Rasmussen.
Okay, thank you. Anyone know much about this course?
It's a
Was it a
IAAO.
seminar?
It's an IAAO course, not an IAOO course. It's IAA.
That was
Okay.
my typo sending it to Terry Joe that way.
IAAO is
Yeah.
the International Assessors Association. We put on a lot of good.
Shauna, do you
They put on a lot of good
do you
continuing.
know
ed.
anything?
I didn't take this course, but IAAO is a professional organization.
Okay.
It's
great.
kind of like the Appraisal Institute for assessors. Just-
Yep. Do you want to make a motion to accept it, Shauna?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
I'll
Shauna
second it.
has a motion to accept it. And we got a second by John for 2 hours. What's going down in commercial real estate for 2 hours for Joseph Holstein? Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Shauna, aye as well. So we pass. Okay. Great. All right, number 9. Someone we all know, Linda Keefe Robitaille, seeking equivalent education for writing of the Connecticut Appraisal Law course for 14 hours and waiver of taking the law class. Linda?
I don't have a problem with the waiving of the 14 hours. I didn't think we could waive the law course for anybody, including us, and that came up in the past. So with the 14 hours, I just I thought we couldn't waive that.
Well, that's what I'm at. Linda, what has happened in the past? What happened last cycle with the law course?
Last cycle you did waive it for me since, I mean, I wrote it, so to sit through it, I mean, if you want me to sit through it, I will. It's not a big deal.
Okay. In this Connecticut appraisal law course, 14 hours, that's what you've been working on for this new version, correct? Not the one from 2 years ago.
And for the revisions of the last one.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I
Yeah.
misspoke on, I should have used the word revisions. Okay. All right. Open up to Commissioner Shauna. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize if I did.
No, I'm just concerned about the AQB and when we get audited and about her actually taking the course. Like I said, I really don't have a problem with the 14 hours.
Is that what we've?
Any other comments?
Is that what we've done in years past when we've written this law module? That
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually taken the law module
not that part. The 14 hours in the
Yeah.
past.
yeah, the 2 times I've written it before.
I got no issues.
Norris, any
Jerry?
comments or no?
Hey, Jerry, can I make a motion?
Yeah. You can make
Make the motion
yeah,
to
the
approve.
floor is yours if you want.
Make the motion to approve the 14 hours and waiver of law course.
And you were breaking up, Norris, so, or it's my end, it broke up. Could you repeat that, please?
I'll make the motion to approve the 14 hours and waiver of taking the law course.
Okay, Norris has put a motion on the floor, 14 hours of approval and waiving of the law course. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Shauna is a second. Discussion. Hearing none, call to a vote. Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? It's good to go for the 14 hours and the law course waiver.
Thank
Okay.
you, guys.
Now, under new business, is there anything else that I'm looking at the supplement? I don't see anything unless I'm missing it. Am I missing anything under new business?
Not
You're
that I can see.
not, the only thing is, if we can go back, to Byron Francis, who did submit his logs to me, do you want me to go ahead and forward them to you and pick the samples for him to come for next month? Or do you want to do the logs next month and have him come in June?
Does any of the
We gave him
members of the commission, any of the members of the commission have a strong feeling either way on this?
Well, if he's, up against time and he's trying to push along, the sooner the better, right?
Right.
Yep.
Right, you gave him a 6-month extension, so. I can send them out if
So, Linda,
Shauna.
what you're
Linda-
Yeah, if Shauna happens to pick samples, or Linda, or John, or Norris, I'm fine with that. It's dandy with me, okay? That means we've looked at it, someone on the commission has done it. They'll pick the 4, 5, 6, whatever the number is, and here we go,
Okay, so
And
I'll
then
help
we
Terry
just-
Joe send them out.
And then we just
Once I
approve the
send it
log
to
at the
her.
next meeting, right?
Right, and then we can.
That's correct.
Go forward next meeting.
That's correct, John. Yeah, we'd approve it, log, and then move from there, okay? If we approve the log, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, is there anything else that we've glossed over before we've done school and courses. I think we've
Okay,
done
Mr. Chairman,
legal.
that's all I want. Hey, Jerry, just one other
Yeah.
thing. I didn't hear, maybe I wasn't listening, I don't know, but courses to be approved by the commission, the other A94 all the way down to 914, that was all done, all in one, right? Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
No, you're welcome. Okay. We've done the legal, school course approvals. Okay, open to the general public. Again, I don't know if anyone's still there on the screen. Comments or concerns of any person present today? Is there any questions, Terry Joe? Hands raised, or someone like to make a statement or a comment?
Terry, at the law class, they came up about having the next cycle, if we are going to start allowing people, we should at least talk about it at some point, where if they have to get their coursework in by January 30th, well, somebody in February, would that be considered the next cycle? I would think so, but I think we're gonna need to discuss that.
Yeah, Sean, I had you for the next thing right before. That was my comment to give you the floor because you had 2 questions you said when you took the law class, okay? Or that's what my notes went on the plane were. So if there's no one from the general public with a question, then I wanted to turn this over to you because you had 2 points if my notes say here. So if I could hold you for just a second to make sure. Terry Joe, is there any comments from the general public?
No hands raised, no comments seen.
All right, very good, thank you. Shauna, I had here now, I don't know why I had 2 points. It said Shauna 2 points to be discussed. So I turn it over to you.
One was what I just said, that the question came up that if, because of the way the state changed, that you have to have your continuing in 3 months ahead of time. If somebody takes a class in between those 3 months, so where are we, 24? So if somebody takes a class in February 24, will that be count towards the next cycle since they have to have all their continuing January of 24?
Shauna, for one who has more.
No, if you take a class in
than I
May, it's
want-
the next cycle.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's good that we're addressing it now. With all the different states I'm licensed in, and I'm going to use California for example, appraisers have to have all our CE in 120 days before your expiration date. There's no ands, if, or buts, or your SOL, short on luck. That's a question I don't have an answer. I'm going to find out what, I'll use California as an example. The first one that comes to mind. Well, there's a couple other states that have 60-day windows and so forth. I will reach out and find out. That's a great question. I've never thought about it or what have you. I don't even have a clue where to answer, but I'd like to find out how other states are looking at it. Maybe others have a more clear view than I, but I just wanted to let you know my initial thought, what you have here.
Would be good, just to find out if somebody takes a class during the window.
Right.
And the
Yeah,
second point that Linda did answer was that there was a question about when we count appraisers, if you're retired, what category do they go into? And Linda said we have a separate category. So do we know how many people that are on the retired cycle?
I
Or
don't,
retired
but
status?
I can run a report and get that info. Because I know there's a couple that have sent their renewals in for retirement instead of renewing this cycle. So I don't know, it won't take me long to run a report. I don't think there's very many because they usually come to me for approval and I can't remember doing more than a handful.
Can we put it on the
Let
agenda?
me ask you this. Yeah, exactly, John.
Put it on the agenda for
Get
next month. I
answers
think
that-
we should finalize this as soon as we can for the schools primarily, not so much so that to get it out.
Right. And once the department has discussed this, and once all the real estate cycle is over with, including the renewal of the salespeople, an email will be going out from the department to all the appraisers, the salespeople, the brokers, and another one to all the schools with the new law and what will happen. We didn't want to send anything out now and totally confuse people.
Linda, I have to ask a question here, is that I know from the Appraisal Institute, I'm trying to do this off of memory here, if they retire from their SRA or the SRP or their MAI designation, I believe they were allowed to earn up to, and I thought the figure was like $15,000 a year. It's still, but they were retired or something like that. When they apply for retirement within the state of Connecticut, are they totally out of the business, or is there a minimal amount they're still allowed to act, and if they are retired, do they have to take CE? It's a damn good question that I never had thought about that now that we have before us here. What is the criteria or whatever the rules?
They are totally out of the business. They cannot work. If they,
Okay, it's simple as that.
if they want their license back, say they do retirement now, they send in their papers, they're old enough, they're 65, they want to retire. Next year, they decide, they're bored, they want their license back. They can get their license back by paying just the current fee. They don't have to pay any back fees, but they have to show they've done all the CE that's been required. So if it's 3 years down the line, then they need this year's CE, and then the one that would be due in 2024, they'd have to show. And that is a AQB requirement.
So there's no cap. They're still under that. They've got it, under the AQB. So I retire at 65, as an example. And then I decide 6 years from now, when I'm 71, I pay for the fee. I got to make up all the CE credits. That means I could go even out 8 years, or is there a window? You have to do it within, one cycle, like many places are.
No,
regular.
You just have to have 8 years. So that would be 4 cycles of CE. So 28 hours times 4.
Okay, so it's not like when someone lets their license lapse, that you've got to get it done. You got a 2-year window like many states. If you don't, you're SOL, you're done. You're short on
Right,
mark.
so that's the difference between someone who lets their license lapse and doesn't do anything. They have just the 2 years and that's all they can do, versus a retirement where they pay a $20 fee to keep their license in retirement status, and then they could always get it back.
Okay. Are there other, I'm sorry, folks, feel free to jump in with questions. Shawnee, you brought up 2 good points here.
Commissioner
just trying to
Rasmussen?
get clarification.
Yes, we have Jackie Bouchane with her hand raised. Jackie?
You
morning.
can unmute her. Thank you.
Good morning. On one of the law classes, there was a broker salesperson that stated that the cycle is changing for their renewal license and that they also thought it was going to be changing on the appraiser side. And Sean or John, I'm not sure if it was on one of the calls that, you know, that you folks were on, that it was changing to like November, not the CE, but the license date itself. Has that been discussed? I don't recall hearing that.
Only the broker's license date of renewal is changing. The appraisers and the salespeople are staying the same. Correct, Vicky?
Yes,
It's just
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, the brokers and the home improvement contractors are flipping when they renew their licenses.
Correct, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah, because she kind of stated that it was going to be for appraisers too. And I'm not sure, John, was that the class you did or was it one of the other classes? I'm not sure.
No, no one brought it up in the one I was.
Okay. And we had said, you know, that maybe it was Bruce then that did the class. Shauna, was it the class that you were on that she had said that? Do you recall?
Not about the brokers.
Okay, yeah. So it was just kind of put on hold. So I wanted to ask that when Shauna asked about the CE cycle, that made me think of it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions from the general public?
I have no more raised
Okay.
hands.
Sure. Thank you. I think I agree with you, John, that this should be put on our agenda next month to have further discussion, or let's make some decisions. I would like personally just to find out. I have no clue, and I should know this. And you know, I probably have maybe 4 or 5 different states who have this kind of window. I know California's 120-day rule. I know Alabama's got the 30-day rule, and so forth. I never thought of the question, and until, you know, Shauna, you brought it up, and I would just personally just like to try to get an idea what they do, bring it back to everybody, what we know, and let's clarify it now, which I think is still good. We clarify how we were going to look at it in April of 2022, and the new cycle begins May 1st. So I think it's right to get it addressed now as soon as possible. Will that work for folks?
Yep.
Okay. All right then. I have only one other thing, but are there any other comments from members of the commission?
I do have one under old business that I forgot to say. Sarah Thompson, she signed all her reports with the wrong credentials. So if Linda could reach out and let her know that she's putting RCP instead of RSP on her reports. If you look at her report, it says RCP. So if you could just let her know that she's putting, I'm sure she put it in wrong once and it just keeps going. I'm surprised nobody would have ever caught that.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to end it here that today is the 9th of March, and I believe, I may be wrong, but Linda, are you still, you're with us through the month or through next month? Are you retiring? Where do you stand? Is this our last time we get to have you with us? And if it is, we want to give you the most hearty of thanks out there for the unbelievable hours of dedication and, you know, helping us get through the weeds on so many issues. So first, a big thank you. And where do you stand?
My official retirement is April 1st. However, I had told the commissioner I would continue on. I would do the audit, I would work on the law course, I would train the new person. And since they have not even started to interview anybody, to my knowledge, to replace me, I'll be around for a few more months, but will be officially retired. So, and I will come back as they have a program. You can come back as a retiree.
Linda, you're doing the 120 days, correct?
I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to do the full 120 days, but you know, we'll see how it goes.
All right.
We'll see
All
how
right,
it
they're gonna try
goes
get
and, you
you,
know.
Linda, they're gonna try and get you.
Oh, well, since they, you know, haven't even started to interview anyone because, you
We'll
know,
see you, don't
my,
worry, we'll see you
so,
we'll see you next year, don't worry about it.
yeah, you'll see me for the next 6 months.
Yeah, we'll see you, don't worry about it. We're good. Sherry, we're good with her.
Good, good. Well, we thank you so much, Linda, okay? Good. I didn't want that to go unnoticed that, you know, this may have been our last month that we were going to have you. So officially under one hat, you're going to be back wearing a similar hat, but a different hat. And, but we can't say thank you enough, you know, for the hours that you put in. And we've learned a lot of things together, you know, so congratulations on nothing but the very best, you know, when you
Thank
say
you.
enough is enough. Oh,
Thank you all.
folks. If there's nothing more, is there anything more to go over?
Not from my
Okay, if
end.
there's nothing more, can I get a motion to call it a day?
To make a
Make a
motion.
motion.
to call it a- Give it to Norris.
Give it to John.
Give it to Norris.
Norris, you're making a motion to call it a day. The second,
Yeah.
second, John, you the second, or Shauna?
I'll be the second. I don't care.
Okay, ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstention. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for, you know, being diligent. We got through a lot, but